Carole, thank you for joining us today. As we begin, can you say a few words about your current role and what's in your purview?
Yeah, so hello everyone. I'm Carole Winquist and I'm a CMO at a company called GitGuardian. We are a cybersecurity startup, French, working globally with 80% of our customers in the US.
I see. I understand. And in your position, what kind of functions roll up to you? Is it everything from kind of demand generation, product marketing, all the above?
Yes, everything marketing related is rolling into me. So I have different components in my team. I have the product marketeers, then the content team, the DevRel team, plus a growth team. And within the growth team, I have the BDR team. And that's a bit of an exception that I can explain why, because it's a choice to have them in marketing. I can give you a bit of an explanation around this. And also I have support functions such as marketing analyst, designer, and Webflow developer.
Interesting. So that kind of paints the picture of where you are in the career arc. But to get more of a 360 view, maybe if you can fill in the dots along the line, how did you get into cybersecurity? What was the first door?
It's the first. I've done all my career in software. I've started in a company called Info, more ERP, finance, BI, everything. A lot of enterprise software for a long time, 15 years there. Then I moved to business process management through a company called Bonitasoft, so more a startup, scale-up company. And I was hired by GitGuardian to about 2.5 years ago. And it was my first in cyber, so I'm still learning a lot. It's very, very technical, but I've always been in technical products, but it's even more technical, I would say. And it's a very interesting market.
Interesting. And based on what you've learned through the transition from technology marketing to cybersecurity marketing, what will be your advice for other marketing executives who are looking to make this transition? What will be the top three learnings in this journey that you would recommend they should be aware of, that should focus on? What will be your advice?
So first, a lot of cybersecurity markets are immature, and the velocity of maturity is crazy. So you come in a market, I came in a market 2.5 years ago, nearly nobody was speaking about our subject. Now we have a new competitor every other week. So it's really fast. And so that's one thing. You need to be ready to react and to act and to be visionary in a way on how to differentiate because the market is changing very, very fast. The second is the immaturity makes it necessary to educate the market. So you need to be very strong on content, and educating the market is key for success and building the brand. That's the second thing. And I would say you need to love technology, and you need to be ready to learn hard concepts, difficult, technical elements, and not always understand all the details because it's really complex technology and also complex behaviors. When you're facing hackers, they're very smart and they are using a lot of different ways. And you as a company, you need to also be ready to understand how they work, how your solution is helping your customer against them. So it's you need to grasp a bit of the product and the technique. So if you don't like complex product and complex markets, don't come to cyber.
Interesting. It's well, one thing that I find fascinating is that it's always changing. It's always evolving. In terms of threat landscape, how that the whole kind of world is changing. Because I know 5 years ago, 10 years ago, people thought of hackers as, teenagers in hoodies hunched over computers, but now it's APTs that are well-financed, well-resourced, they're state-sponsored. So it's no longer kind of lone wolf type of threats. It's really enterprise level attackers versus enterprises or kind of large organizations on the other side. So it's one thing that I find fascinating is it never stays still. It's always changing, always evolving, which kind of brings me to the next question, because I think when I think of marketing, there's no kind of one single channel, one single tool. It's always multiple tools in the toolbox. And sometimes you lean more on certain tools versus the others. But what is working for you now? What's the most used tool in your toolbox right now?
Okay, so in terms of marketing mix, first, I mean, we are selling B2B enterprise at GitGuardian, so marketing mix needs to be very rich, very diverse, a lot of different type of content, type of format, type of touch points, long sales cycles. So everything needs to be, we activated most of the tactics. They're not all mature at the same point, but all our tactics have been activated very quickly when I joined. A lot of spend on building the brand. Also, this is really critical to be recognized, because you need to build trust in our market. And if you're not known for what you do, it's a problem to build trust. So I would say if you go down to what are the tactics that work, I would say events stay a big, and it's not fancy, it's not innovative, it's not AI, it's not whatever, but it's still a good portion of our leads coming from our events, in-person events in all geos. People like to meet us in person, and we get to know new people all over the place. So I manage events in two different ways. The classical sponsored events, but I have also 2 DevRels, and they were able to do, this year, they are going to be around 70 events together.
Wow.
Conference. It's a lot of money in terms of the traveling. It's a lot of also stress for them, but we've managed to be everywhere and speak to our audience and educate, because as I said, education is critical. So the second, I would say, good channel is now LinkedIn more than Google Ads. Google is really not performing, and we find that LinkedIn is far more adapted to our very specific audience, industry-based marketing, account-based marketing, title-based marketing. We can do that in LinkedIn. You can't really do that in Google. So we see
paid ads, right?
Yes, paid ads. And I would say the rest of everything we do, the sponsorships, the banner ads, the content syndication, they all provide a bit of it, right? But they're not the massive provider of leads. Each of them produces either influence or original leads. But the question is not what can I stop doing and what can I do more of. It's what you should do everything, and then you can inflate a bit the budget on what works the best, but you should not stop the rest, because unfortunately it's a combination. It's a series of touch points, between 7 and 10, I would say, for each person. So if you stop something, you might lose a capacity, you might lose an occasion of presenting your content to your audience. So
Interesting. I wanted to pull on one of the threads, something that you said about educating the market and how important it is to really meet your potential prospect kind of eye to eye to tell your story and to develop that trust. Because recently we find that if you think of a customer journey where they walk from step 1 when they're not aware that there is a problem, then they become problem aware, then become landscape aware, then they walk through this path. And one thing that we find is that recently more and more steps are walked alone, meaning there's so many opportunities to find research, to find information. So often CISOs or other cybersecurity executives, they don't even want to engage with the vendor. They educate themselves as they need to, and sometimes it's frustrating because often people bring up this topic that I'm currently fascinated about, which is this concept of dark funnels, where a lot of conversations are not, to your point, the Google is not effective, right? So a lot of those early stage conversations happen in places that you can't even see, control, or influence, whether it's a private Slack channel or over group chat with colleagues, over sidebar conversation at RSA or Black Hat, and similar type conversations where it's often peer-to-peer, and often without visibility or attribution for vendors. So someone typing your name, your company name in a Google search, they go to the website to fill out the form. So you say, oh, it's Google brought this lead. Meanwhile, all those things happened in the dark over previous 6 months or previous year that you don't really see. So how do you balance? And on the other hand, CISOs, they're in their roles for the same, often for the same reasons. They like the constant challenge. They like the adversarial relationship, the good guys versus bad guys. They like the fact that they always need to keep learning. There is so much content. It's like a fire hose of content opportunities, time commitments, and things like this. So it's a little bit of a challenge to balance that. So how do you think about balancing the fact that often those upstream content consumption happens without really attribution, to get the message across?
For me, it's not a problem.
It's a loaded question, but
I fully agree with what you said, and I don't see it as a problem. First, I have a background of working in open source. For us as open source people, the best thing is that the knowledge is spreading, right? Spread of knowledge. So, for example, with GitGuardian, most of our content, if not 90% of our content, is ungated. So we are not interested in gating it because we believe virality and education goes through dissemination. So that's the first thing. And I'm not a control freak of finding the origin absolutely to know where. What I'm interested in is getting my content as much as possible in front of my audience. And then when they're ready, they will talk to us and we will try to engage conversation with our BDRs also. But if they're not ready, they're not ready. I'm not going to create the need. That's never happens. If you don't need something, unless you're very influenceable, I mean, I don't know the term, but normally, in a business or elements, if you don't have the need, you will not generate the need, right? So what I believe in is I need to convince them that first there is a problem and they need to be educated about the problem, and that we manage through offering a lot of content in very different formats. Because some people, I was reading another study today, some people would like, very easy to read, or some people like a video, some other people want an in-depth article, some other people want a podcast. So we do everything. We do a bit of cartoons and long articles, short video, long video, and we offer all this on a certain number of subjects that are not only our own little, subjects, but wider. So on code security, for example, not just on the secrets management or secrets detection, but wider than this. And then we try to capture, we've added a field on our form saying, where did you hear about us, right? So a free form. We get some information in it, like sometimes we see analyst or we see, a Slack or something, which is interesting. We're happy when we see it because it gives us, okay, I'm right to invest in my analyst, for example, in my analyst relation program. I have no way really to measure the impact, but knowing that a couple of deals came from this is always good. But that's it, right? It's more a point, I would say a point information. But for a lot of programs like PR, AR, it's a leap of faith, right? You have to believe that it's helping, and we know it's helping because we the salespeople are telling me, for example, the fact that my prospects saw your DevRel at this conference really helped for him to come and contact us. I love hearing that, right? But it's people telling you there is no way to measure this, to automate the measurement, and that's fine. Right? We don't need to be a control freak on numbers and and see the origin of everything. I think we have to also, part of our job is art. I think in marketing there is, you know, science, and when we can do science, we do it, but part is art and part is faith. I strongly believe part is faith of what we do should, you know, help the game, right? And
it's interesting. It's interesting that it's interesting that you mentioned that, because it's I'm the same way, because it seems like spending time on figuring the weights, and as soon as you get to multi-touch, it's really anyone's guess. And sometimes people don't even remember when did they hear the name first time.
Exactly.
Maybe they read an article, maybe it was a conversation. They may remember the lost touch, but once you get, well, a colleague brought it up in a conversation a year ago, then I met them at a conference, then I saw something on LinkedIn. Even if you capture all that, how do you assign weights? So which one?
Exactly.
It's also there's this thing of with sometimes geek on this concept of perishability of insight, right? So if the first touch was a year ago, wouldn't you say that the signal is weaker than something that happened last week, right? So it becomes, to your point, there is more art to it than science, because it's really
for me, trying to absolutely measure you know, the relationship between the touch point and what happened, I think is a lost cause in a way. We are human first, and we are human, and we are not predictable most of the time. Second, each of us is different. So if for one person seeing a video, then coming to an event, then I don't know, going to a webinar is one pattern, then maybe the other one will be he would say, no, for me, it's not this. For me, it's going on the website, then I don't know, listening to a podcast. And so do I decide to cover Mr. A or Mr. B? And I'm pretty sure it's very difficult to build cohort of people. And we are not selling, I mean, sometimes I say we're not selling shampoo, right? I'm not selling hundreds of bottles a day. So my cohorts are so limited that anyway, if I use some data points and I'm trying to do statistics, it will be wrong mathematically, because it's
not predictive. It has no
and also the number I study is too small. So any movement out of it will make it different. So you can apply math, I think, on large volumes, on large on cohorts behavior. Pretty sure in B2C it works on a lot of things, but in our environments, I would say probably not. Too many people involved for too long, with too many touch points. At some point you have, and of course we measure all the time, but not all decisions are based on what we measure.
It makes sense. I also wanted kind of to touch on what you said, that BDR reporting to marketing, because I can't say it's controversial, because we see more and more companies where the BDR is the R team is part of the marketing group. But I think still, for the most part, it's for most of organizations, it's still kind of in sales. What was your reasoning
So here is my take.
Going this route.
So here is my take. Until very recently, most of our pipeline was built out of inbound. And to grow fast, because we are a scale up now, we needed to augment our pipeline creation. To do that, we are generating a lot of leads. I mean, we're generated about 1,000 MQL a month, approximately.
Oh, wow.
And until then, we're just dealing with them programmatically. Okay, this is not sufficient, and it's not working that much into conversion, right? Because it's, as I said, it's difficult programmatically to really follow people's journey and be relevant in their journey. So we decided, okay, we're going to try, and it's a try, right? We just started back in August. We have now people onboarded, and they're starting delivering pipelines, so it seems to work. We said, okay, let's hire BDRs to basically combine programmatic and people follow up of these MQLs. And when we decided where to put it, we decided marketing. For one reason is I strongly believe that if they are embedded in the marketing team, they are breathing and basically they are breathing the content all the time. So we have a team that is meeting twice a week, we are discussing content, we are discussing what's the next campaign, and BDR participate in these meetings. So they know what's happening. They know why we build a campaign, what are the pieces, what are the messaging, who is targeted, when it's ready, what they can leverage. And so they are really next to the content, and content is key for them. Articulate the right conversation with their audience. If I had them in sales, what would happen is that we built all the nice, and this is what happened with AEs, right? We built this nice brochure, this nice video, then we say to sales, hey sales, you have this nice video, it's available for you, please use it. And then you call them 2 months later, oh yeah, I forgot, where is it, I don't remember, it's there somewhere, or I didn't use it, I forgot. And you have a lot of energy to basically convince them to use your content. I think there is a data that 70% of the marketing content is not used by sales, but I think it was an old data, but it's massive. So my worry was, okay, am I going to spend my time and my energy by convincing BDR and telling them they should use this content and re-explaining them why we build this content, or should I have them at the origin of the content? They participate in the building, they know about it, they listen to the conversation of the PMMs and the content writers, they know what's happening, why we're building them, so they can't be aware. They can't be not aware. They are there every day, every week. And so I believe they are in the best place. Also, the PMM are explaining the new product, and they can, they're at the origin of everything in a way. So
and the BDRs
that's my take. That's my take.
It makes a lot of sense. And but the BDR, are they mostly handling the inbound leads, or they are reaching out outbound as well?
So what they are doing is so everything that is hot inbound, so someone filling get a demo form goes to AE directly. We don't push them to sell to BDRs. BDRs are I would say 90% working on MQLs. We have a lot of them. So why would you go for a very cold outreach when you have 1,000 MQL already, people knowing you in a way or another? So you should work these, right? You should work these because at least they know you, they have heard about you, they have consumed your content, they came to an event, they did something with you. So it's easier to convince these people to engage into a demo, a POC or something, rather than going to this company who's never heard about us and trying to convince them to even, listen to us. So I think 90% of their time, if not more, they're dealing with people who know us in a way or another. And so what we built for them, I think we built a bit of a Ferrari, I would say, as a picture, but something that is a dream come true for me as a CMO is we built an intent scoring module in a way that we built in-house. So we looked a lot at different tooling for this, and none of it was really making what we wanted. So we have a growth engineer in the team, and he built something great where he's basically taking a lot of different intents, and they're coming from the product, the behavior on our website, on LinkedIn, with our ads, with very different things. And he's basically capturing all this. He's enriching it with as much as we can from different tooling. And then he's putting some scoring and basically presenting to the BDRs the best.
This person first and this person last, right?
Exactly. And this helps so much into, making them efficient, because every day they know which one are the hottest one, the lower hanging fruits, right? And you want them to spend their time on this. So
you can you probably can productize and offer it as a service to the market, to non-competing companies, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, but I think it's very related to your business and how. I mean, we are lucky at GitGuardian because people can use our products. So to build trust, we built a lot of transparency. And for example, we allow people to test our product, nearly anonymously. I mean, they just register with their GitHub profile, so they can really be in peace and use the product. So for us, it's a way also to capture some data on behaviors and find these product qualified lead that can maybe make it to a more a license, a SaaS license. So we are not only a PQL, like a product-led growth company, because most of our customers are enterprise, but it's still a motion for us. And this complexity makes it important to build it in-house, I think, rather than building, buying an external which will cover part of what we really want to do.
Yeah, well, it's this dilemma. Either you build the tool yourself that fits your business, or you buy off-the-shelf tool and then change your business to fit the tool. So it's just
yeah. And for a lot of things, I mean, for most of the thing we buy, but for this one, we looked and we said no.
Well, if you want a Ferrari, you may have to build it yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
otherwise you'll get stuck with a 10-year-old Honda that doesn't really run very well.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, Carole, we're coming up on time. Thank you so much. This was amazing. I guess as a last question, imagine you have a crystal ball and you can see into the future. In 6 months, 12 months, cybersecurity marketers will be thinking about, obsessed about, concerned about what 2-3 themes that will play out in the future. Maybe they already can see them now, but maybe not. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, for us in the market we're playing at, it's really facing new competition as I said, it's changing every other day. New people are coming on our market from different horizon because they see, that it's an interesting market, and you have to always rethink your differentiation. For me, this is one of the most critical and also difficult thing, because we're facing sometimes big vendors coming in and with solution they buy and they try to integrate, and you have to explain to the market that, yeah, well, maybe they say they cover your, what you cover too, but how do they do it through this acquisition? And so I think product marketing is one of the elements that is the most critical. And the second one I would say for us is also the whole sales enablement, what I was telling you about, making sure what marketing produces is actually leveraged to its best by the sales team. But I think it's not just cyber, it's any market is like this, but it's, we have great relationship with sales. I've always told sales, they are my customer. This is my philosophy with marketing and sales. They are my customer. So I need to provide them with the best product in a way they want to consume it. So it's, for me, it's what I think every day, and trying to make sure that my sales team love what we do and consume it and use it. So my team is not producing for nothing, right?
Yeah. Well, that makes sense. Well, yeah, it's I think in the end of the day, it's obviously, it seems like you're very successful in getting results. And I think the sales, they if they see that what they're told producing results, they incorporate it in the way they do business. It just sometimes they think they know better, or they think they understand better. So it's an ongoing dialogue. Carole, thank you so much for your time. Where can people find you? What's the best way to connect?
LinkedIn. I'm responsive on LinkedIn. Please, vendors, don't try to sell me so many things, but I will respond. And if you're, outbounding in a non-correct way, I will tell you, because I want you to be better and sell better. So
for sure, Carole. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.